Welcome back, and welcome to the newcomers who are staggering in. Here is the mixture of Vallejo Metal Color, chrome and aluminum. I removed about 80% of the solvent from it, so it's very thick. Looks kind of gloopy, kind of stodgy, kind of gloppy. The Eskimos have 1,000 words for snow, and I think the English have 1,000 words for glop. I'm not sure why. It might be the cuisine. Vallejo Metal Color is supposedly to be used with an airbrush, and I'm going to brush it. From the very beginning, when this product was first introduced, prior to the several reformulations, it had a problem with the kind of crystallizing. You get these solid chunks. And that problem still exists to some extent, and there's no way to deal with it really except a secret weapon. Right here. Yes, Professor, the ultrasonic cleaner. Now, by means of demonstration, I'm going to show the jar of the stuff I was just stirring. And I'm going to put it in this water bath inside the ultrasonic cleaner, but I forget the little basket, so you got to put that little basket in there too. And then, yeah, here we are. Here we are. The dulcet tones of the ultrasonic cleaner. And there it is. It's alive, it's alive. And now we have our ultrasonic emulsified jar. We're going to see if this is as smooth as it should be after 10 minutes of emulsification. I didn't do anything special with the ultrasonic cleaner. I just put this in there, ran it for 10 minutes. And look at that. Creamy. Smooth. If you drink this, however, you go into an alternate reality. Remember how it looked before. Yeah. Now, look at it. Ultrasonic emulsification, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get that model out here and start painting, because this is all going to start to go bad after a very short period of time. It's like one of those old fairy tales. I'm going to start brushing here with this brush. It's a 1/4-inch camel hair brush, and I do believe you can buy these. I discovered recently you can buy one from our friends at Mack Brush. They call them lacquering brushes. Again, I'll put a link in the description. Now, what I'm doing here is I am painting to start off. I'm painting all the areas where we have some topology going on. So if there's a fold or a bend or a twist or an edge, anything like that, anything except a nice big flat area. Yeah, I'm thinking it over. Wait a minute. The tail's going to be red, so why am I holding on to this coat hanger thing? I could just be holding on to the tail. Yeah. It's slowly dawning on me here. I could be doing this differently. Anyway, I want to paint around objects like that spine going down the back of the airplane. Anything that might cause a run or a drip or an accumulation of paint. I want to brush along those edges anything with, like I said, anything with an edge, any kind of feature. Now I get in there and I start painting the big flat areas, which is the fun part. But you're noticing that this paint, at least I think you might be noticing, this paint is a little tricky to use because it just, I'm not going to say it dries. It starts to solidify almost instantly. It has this weird characteristic. That's why I needed to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner for emulsification. Because of this tendency that it has to go solid if you leave it alone for a few minutes. And that you can feel that when you're brushing it. You can feel that tendency it has to turn into a solid, or not to remain a nice liquid, but to go solid on you. Adding a solvent here is not going to help, although maybe a retarder might, but I'm afraid of that because this paint already has trouble fully curing. You get the worst of all worlds here. You get a paint that solidifies quickly, which makes it hard to brush. But then it takes forever to fully cure, so it's always a little bit sticky. Yeah, Vallejo. Yeah, I love them. They're my special friends. So, this paint isn't designed for brushing anyway. Listen to me, going on and on. When I'm using this paint in a totally unauthorized fashion. Western civilization is in peril here. This crazy guy is brushing it on. I don't know. Not sure why I'm painting that radome. The point is, though, the radome is a little tricky. The actual black part of the radome is not what you would think. It's not that cap part. Oh, well, we'll get to that later. Brushing away. I realize this is out of focus, but the miracle here is not that I've got a beautiful video made. Mommy, what is that sticking out of the belly there? It's not that I'm making a video. That's not the miracle is that I'm making a video at all of this. Because, quite frankly, and this may have something to do with what's called monotropism, I like to have my concentration 110% on what I'm doing, and not 50% on painting and 50% on video work. Because what I'm doing is kind of, well, not kind of, it's radical. I'm using the paint in a way that the manufacturer and everybody else, the Holy Church, says don't do this. And here I am, painting away. Painting with a brush, just like this paint was designed for that. And it's working reasonably well, I gotta say. But here I am, painting away in this radical fashion. And complaining that it isn't perfect. Well, it's not going to be. I'm also focused 110% on the task at hand. And believe it or not, I don't want to get a camera in my way. I'm not interested in the camera action at all. So knowing all that, you should be fully aware, should be obvious, that the fact that I have this on camera is kind of a miracle. I was super thrilled when I got this on camera. It was like getting a Sasquatch. to just come up and, hand you a carved walrus tusk or whatever they give. I don't know. I've forgotten what Sasquatches give away now, but it was like having a real in-depth interview with a Sasquatch and then and getting it on camera. I just really felt good about that. But of course, keeping it in focus is not going to be easy. So it's going to get out of focus. Incredibly, I know it's hard to believe. Incredibly, I do not have $1,000 laying around that I want to spend on a camera. So tough luck for y'all. Unless y'all get together, you know what I'm saying? I'm just suggesting things. Just suggesting. Just thinking aloud. Thinking out loud here. I'm told there are cameras that can track movement and autofocus. Yeah, I've been told of them. They exist in a land far away. At some point along the way, that coat hanger handle that I made that I was very proud of, it's going to fall out with a crash, which fortunately you're not going to have to hear, but I heard it and it startled me. So if you notice anything strange going on, anything stranger than usual going on, but when I'm really focused on what I'm doing, then the last thing I want is some distraction like the homemade handle I made falling out or something like that. That's not good. Yeah. Now, for those of you who can imagine things, you're going to have to imagine me painting off camera here. I'm painting away, Just imagine it. Picture it in your mind, unless you've got that problem where you can't picture things. I'm sympathetic. Okay, I got to paint that spine a little bit. Always pay extra attention to the edges. Always, always. Because those are the things that are, first of all, the paint gets rubbed off of them first. And they're going to get neglected. So give the edges a little extra care. Yep. It's blurry, but it's ours. So we love it. All right, I think that's all the painting I'm going to do at this moment. There it is. Now we can move on to step 2 in the process, which is to get ready to paint those red wingtips and that tail. Yeah, I didn't forget about that stuff. Another thing I'm going to try to do here is to deal with some of the focus problems. I'm going to use my phone as a camera. The camera I'm using right here is a lovely little camera that was, I don't even know what to say about it. Beautiful little webcam. But it's not really up to the task. Here's my phone camera. And there, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. Piece of trim film painted with red. The same red I'm going to use. It's great that the little steel ruler moves around. That's great. Yeah. I call my scalpel Old Thumb Cutter. We're going to get some little strips cut out of this somehow. And cutting these strips is pretty much done by eye. I just figure, well, that's about the right width. You don't want it to be too wide. I'm imagining that someone might get carried away and make these strips really wide. I don't know why you'd want to make them 1/4 of an inch wide, but if somebody did that, it would, I don't know whether it would be a good idea or not. I don't know whether it would cause a problem or not. You could try it. I prefer to make them kind of very thin if I can. It just depends on how confident you are with your brushing. I don't know, how'd my phone do there? Is my phone working well? I don't know. It seems to be. Now I'm going to move straight along here and just keep going with this process. Now normally, in the past, let's put it that way, I would not press on immediately with anything. I always leave everything for a few hours, maybe overnight. I kind of take a slow but sure approach. Not today. I got the camera going. We're going for it. You notice I'm putting those little strips of decal in my handy little dish. That little dish with the water in it is how I always do decals. Cut them out one at a time. Put them in the dish with the water. Use distilled water if you can, or the cleanest water you can get. Tap water, not so much. It's got too many chemicals in it. In the United States, it's got chlorine and fluoride. God only knows what else. But just watch out for that. Okay. Now that decal trim film is about ready to let go here from the paper. And I'm just going to put that directly onto the surface of the model where I know this red wingtip is going to extend. I've already got it figured out where the line needs to be. And I got lucky, and it immediately sort of laid down where it was supposed to be, so I'm trimming it off with a pair of scissors. You just want that little red line, like so, to be where the line of demarcation is going to be between the red and the aluminum. Now, what color red is this? It's a homebrew color. It's the Tamiya glossy red with some white added to it to make it brighter. I have been told at those websites where I hang out when I want to know what it feels like to have a stroke. When I go to those websites, I'm told there's no such thing as Arctic red, which is fine. If that's what they want to believe, I don't care. I'm doing my wingtips in Arctic red. There is some Arctic red right there. Okay, that little decal's been given a few minutes to get settled in, and then we're going to start packing some paint on there. There's our jar of mystery red. I'm going to give it a little stir. You notice earlier that I was moving that decal around with the tip of a little file. A little jeweler's file, they sometimes call them. That's the only thing I found that really moves decals around. Not just that file, but any of those files. For some reason, it's by far the best tool for moving the decal around. Knife's too sharp, tweezers too awkward. All right, here we go. Here we go with a color which is not Arctic red. So just, yeah, I can hear it now. The crying, the whining, the Arctic red. Here it goes. Yeah. See, I've decided not to let the color bullies push me around anymore. That was a big mistake, to let those guys get inside my head. I built a couple of models which turned out to be just not very much fun, because I was paying way too much attention to the color police. Arctic red, baby. There it is. Okay. Now I know there are folks, I imagine there are folks, okay, I'm paranoid, who say, yeah, sure, that looks fine, but really, later on, he's going to swap out this thing for another model and show you, and pretend that he painted it with a brush. And there it is. There it is. This is the model as it is right now, with the metal finish and the Arctic red. So pretty. Yeah, gotta give a good kiss. Mwah! There it is, with the Arctic red and the metal and all the stuff that you can't do with a brush. There it is. I'm going to have to go over that anti-glare panel, I think, with another coat of flat. Looks a little blotchy. But otherwise, not bad. Future episodes, we will continue to work on the F89. Give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And, send money. Warm socks, stuff like that. All right. We will see you next time. I'm going to turn that light off, see if I can get some of that glare off of that shiny, shiny metal. Oh, my. Next time.